Artemis I, officially Artemis I and formerly known as Exploration Mission 1, is a planned uncrewed moon orbiting mission and the first spaceflight in NASA's Artemis program. Artemis I will last for 6 weeks and will test all the rocket stages and spacecraft that would be used in later Artemis missions. After reaching orbit and performing a trans-lunar injection, burn to the moon, the mission will deploy 10 CubeSat satellites and the Orion spacecraft will enter a distant retrograde orbit for 6 days. The Orion spacecraft will then return and re-enter the Earth's atmosphere, protected by its heat shield, and splash down in the Pacific Ocean. The goal of Artemis I, named after the twin sister of Apollo, is to test the 322-foot Space Launch System rocket and Orion crew capsule that sits on top of the Space Shuttle. The highly anticipated uncrewed mission, Artemis I, will bring the United States a step closer to returning astronauts to the moon 5 decades after humans last walked on the lunar surface.
Artemis I is set to launch in 2022. This first flight will orbit around the moon without astronauts. It's a sort of test flight designed to collect data on the capabilities of the Space Launch System, the Orion spacecraft, and all the exploration ground systems that support flight.
Blastoff had been planned on August 29, 2022, but was cancelled because a test to get one of the rocket's 4 RS-25 engines to the proper temperature range for launch was not successful. The Orion capsule is to orbit the moon to see if the vessel is safe for people in the near future. Artemis aims to put a woman and a person of color on the moon for the first time. During the 42-day trip, Orion will follow an elliptical course around the moon, coming within 60 miles, 100 kilometers, at its closest approach and 40,000 miles at its farthest, the deepest into space by a craft designed to carry humans. On its return to Earth's atmosphere, the heat shield will have to withstand speeds of 25,000 miles per hour at a temperature of 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit, 2,760 degrees Celsius, roughly half as hot as the Sun. After the Artemis I mission, Artemis II will perform a crewed lunar flyby, and Artemis III will perform a crewed lunar landing, 5 decades after the last Apollo mission.